It's the 6th of November and I'm Tom Glass and welcome to The Roast. Well, it's our final original episode tonight and our penultimate one for the year. But we've still got a few things to say before we're done, so as the saying goes, come with me if you want to leave.
That's not a saying, and well done for screwing up the final intro of the year.
Thank you. Anyway, here is Mark Humphries with the headlines.
No.
Thank you, Mark. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. So thank you. No, still got more? A little off today, actually.
You're a little off every day.
Well, I'm nothing if not consistent. Anyway, here is whatever comes next in the show.
Former Prime Minister Gough Whitlam was farewelled yesterday. Sadly, today's politicians are still around. But as this is the final episode of The Roast, I thought they deserved their own farewell. So let's start with the man who's running the country, Clive Palmer. Before the election, I thought the Palmer United Party would be a flaming bag of shit on the doorstep of Parliament that voters would stamp out. But somehow, Clive, they let your flaming bag inside Parliament, and you've been stomping shit around in there ever since. To your credit, though, you did assemble the finest political minds you could find. A Brick, a Wang, and last but most definitely least, Jackie Lambie, the burqa-banning bad dream we can't wake up from, who proves that anyone, and I really mean anyone folks, can be a senator. Then there's Mr. Power Steering himself, Ricky Muir. Well, Ricky, your achievements speak for themselves. And Independent Senator Nick Xenophon. In some weird way, you were the most grown up of all our politicians, and that's even when we take this into account. Also, thank you to the Greens, the party who are willing to negotiate as long as they get 100% of everything they want. You taught us that even if a beloved politician had no affiliation with your party, you can still put him on one of your posters. And it'd be wrong of me not to mention the Labor Party, because God knows they could use the publicity. Thank you, Bill Shorten. I'll always remember the way you... Actually, I can't remember anything you did. Some people lead their parties out of the wilderness. You've led yours back into it. As for the rest of the Labor Party, well, I'll be sure to thank you when you do something. And who could forget the Abbott government? I wish I could. A climate change policy which seems committed to making the climate change. A government that says our country is open for business but closed to asylum seekers. I really am going to miss the bench warmers of Team Australia, specifically those on the front bench. I'm grateful to Erica Betts for helping me understand that abortion is linked to breast cancer. Good thing you're the Employment Minister, otherwise you'd be out of a job. And Education Minister Christopher Pyne. Thank you for making me happy that I'm no longer a university student because I don't have a spare $100,000. Attorney General George Brandis, the man with the $15,000 taxpayer-funded bookcase who didn't bother to read the book explaining what metadata is. At least George has some books, though. Environment Minister Greg Hunt doesn't need books or scientific consensus. He's got a website.
Greg Hunt uses Wikipedia research to dismiss links between climate change and bushfires.
Hey George, can you keep an eye on Greg's metadata before he gets his next climate change policy from Urban Dictionary? Joe Hockey, the treasurer who thinks wind farms are ugly and poor people don't drive. Are you sure there's not something stronger than tobacco in those cigars? And finally, Tony Abbott, the naughty boy of the Howard government that somehow became Prime Minister. Where would we be without you? Probably a lot better off, actually. You know, the thing I think I'll miss most about you is your sense of humour. Coal is good for humanity. Loggers are the ultimate conservationists. You crack me up. All the best to you and your team. Shine on, you crazy dicks. And I really do mean dicks. Have you seen that cabinet room? There's only one woman, and she's away overseas a lot of the time. So, as I say farewell to you, Australia's politicians, I ask you to think about Gough Whitlam and how Australia remembered him for nation-changing ideas like free education and Indigenous rights. Do you think when you guys die, people will be honouring the memory of Team Australia or Electricity Bill? Wake up! We have a billionaire coal miner napping in the House of Representatives and a rugby league player spear-tackling legislation in the Senate. If we keep this up, we're only a few years away from having red foo in the lodge. So, in the words of a retiring proctologist, goodbye, assholes. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thank you, Mark. Well, tonight... Is that where you stand? Why the hell did I look over there all year? Anyway, it's the final original episode of The Roast on ABC2 tonight. Though, don't be sad, Jesus did pretty well after he was killed off. So we are very excited to announce the Roast 2015 box set containing all of our episodes from next year.
It's The Roast like you've never seen it, because it hasn't gone to air yet. Starting with the people Australia loves to hate, asylum seekers.
Tom, the Australian government has now dropped the expression illegal maritime arrivals in favour of the more accurate phrase expendables.
Things became awkward when it turned out it wasn't an asylum seeker boat, but rather the QE2. The Navy has apologised for shooting several members of the royal family, though no one seemed to care too much about Camilla.
Scott Morrison has once again given an announcement that's making everyone cry. He's like a cross between an evil human rights lawyer and a recently cut onion.
The coalition has taken the letters U and S out of Australia because it was deemed too inclusive to foreigners. So welcome to Team Australia.
Tom, if Scott Morrison wants to use tugboats to pull war-torn countries away from Australia, who are we to argue?
But that's not all. Get bang for your buck with the roast's look at next year's economy.
The ABC launched its latest fundraising program, Busking. Lee Sales delighted shoppers with a 19-minute rendition of Sweet Caroline on her homemade tambourine.
Riots have erupted with the release of the 2015 budget, with people begging the government to bring back the 2014 budget.
Tasty stuff. And we spent a lot of 2015 looking at the party that turned Australia into a team we have no choice but to be a part of.
Julie Bishop has ruffled feathers, claiming that while she supports women, she does not identify as one.
Tony Abbott has happily retired from politics after offending the last ethnic minority on his list.
But she would rather be seen as a post-gender, bodiless entity existing outside time and space, the distilled pure essence of politics. Her approval ratings are at record highs.
Gina Reinhardt and Rupert Murdoch have formed their own political party, saying it was just easier than pretending they don't already run the country.
And we've got all of Captain Abbott's 2015 gaffes in one embarrassing to watch 35-disc box set.
Tony Abbott has made international news by giving Aung San Suu Kyi an uppercut to the spleen. Has amazed onlookers by breaking the nose of 91-year-old former President Jimmy Carter. Has choke-slammed the Pope for his progressive stance on gay marriage. Many are calling his 5-minute tongue kiss with the Queen at the Gallipoli Dawn service highly inappropriate.
But that's not all. We also looked at the Labor Party, which spent 2015 presenting itself as a viable alternative.
Bill Shorten has come up with a new nickname for Tony Abbott and will now take a month off.
The Roast 2015 box set. Buy it now! Or illegally download it before Brandis works out what metadata is.
And of course, for the true roast experience, be sure to start every episode at a slightly different time each night, just to keep yourself guessing. We'll be right back.
Have you ever read my resume? What did you think? Did you hear that thing I did about the news stories of 2015? Pretty good and pretty diverse. I'd love to hear from you. @TheDavidFerrier or hashtag I can work both in a team and autonomously.
And as we say goodbye tonight, there's one group of friends I'm going to miss working with more than anyone else.
As the union rep for the entire crew, I just want to say it's been a pleasure working with you, Mr. Glasson.
No, not you, Billy, no.
Asshole.
No, my friends are two-dimensional and don't exist. That means it's time for the last episode of the longest-running, most politically inclined children's cartoon, Australia's answer to the question, where do my taxes go? Lambie and The Brick.
It's time for the adventures of pup, senators and friends. In the Senate and out of their depth. It's Lambie and The Brick. And Wang.
In one last adventure. Which is why I think they should be forced to sit at the back of the bus.
Gather round, pups. Did you hear that the roast was cancelled? Brick.
So what will happen to us?
Well, we won't exist anymore. We'll be reduced to a clip on someone's showreel.
Oh, that's so sad.
Well, if this is the end, let's all do something nice for the last frame of us that will ever be drawn.
Hug, hug.
It's been real nice knowing you fellas.
Here we go.
I'm scared.
It's okay. It'll be over soon.
Oh, what a perfect ending for those adorable little characters. I'm really going to miss Lambie and The Brick.
Miss them? Tom, that's because our version of those people was cute, adorable, and unbelievably generous to them. The real Palmer United Party holds the balance of power in its hands, Tom. You know how terrible that is? Wang doesn't even have hands. And if nobody's going to do something about it, then I will.
Oh, no.
Is the coast clear? Are they still watching?
No, they're gone.
Thank God. As long as people think we're a joke, then we can take control. Oh, shit! It's Nick Richardson.
Oh, what?
I'm half man, half chair. I wanted to be a cool flying shark eagle. Now, for what I'm about to do, they'll call me a villain, but in time, a hero.
Ouch! On my face!
Pop off, you mother puppers.
That's it for tonight. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our contractually obligated roast recap episode, and do keep an eye out on our Facebook page for some extra content. Also, before we go, we'd just like to say a heartfelt thank you to you, the audience, and also to the big wigs at ABC for giving us 3 amazing years, and to a lesser extent, the smaller wigs. Thank you. So, from all the cast and crew here, thanks for watching. For The Roast, I'm Tom Glasson.
I'm Mark Humphries.
I'm Jazz Twemlow.
I'm Clark Richards.
I'm Alex Lee.
And I'm Nick Richardson.
Good night!
Can you hold this with your fingerprints?
Yeah, sure. What is it?
Nothing. Good night.